All right, I'm going to break down this whole piece from start to finish, show you all the tools and techniques used, so feel free to apply any of this to your own work. I wanted this to be a certain size and at a certain angle and a certain height from the ground because there's a bush that sort of obstructs the view, so I wanted the whole piece to be seen from the street. So I used these lines as a guide to do my sketch. So then I'm going to loosely sketch everything out using my guide to keep the letters roughly how I want them to look. I like to use the pocket cap for sketching. It's one of my favorites because no matter what not no matter, but the distance from the wall doesn't really change the thickness of the line. It'll get a little more fuzzy as you pull back, but the line width stays roughly the same, and I like that for sketching. So then even though this is a simple piece, I still like to redo my sketch to kind of clean up all the slop that happens during the sort of loose sketching process. I also like using the second color because then when I draw in my 3Ds, it just kind of makes everything real clean. So now that my sketch is all done and it's roughly how I want it to be, I'm going to go ahead and block in the colors. I'm going to do a 2-color fade on this one, so I'm going to fill in the top half of the letters with my first color. And I don't know why I did this, but I used the loop stock cap to sort of, I don't know, I felt like I needed to keep it all really clean, but if I was doing this over again, I would probably just put on the transversal fat, which is what I'm going to use to fill in the bigger spaces. So now that I got the top part filled in, I'm going to go and fill in my second color. And I did the same thing, use the loop stock cap to sort of go against my outlines. I just wanted to keep everything really clean, and the transversal fat cap tends to spit out a lot of paint, but I think it would have been fine. I also like to keep a can of aerosol solvent, especially in Vegas when it's really hot and dry. So if I leave the cap just sitting for a while, a lot of times it gets clogged up. So a quick spray through the solvent, it'll keep that from happening. So I don't have to go through too many caps. So now that my bottom color is all filled in, I'm going to rotate the nozzle on the transversal fat cap so that it's spraying sideways. And then when I angle the can to spray upwards, I find it's a lot easier to get just the initial fade in there. Then once I have the initial fade in, I'll rotate the nozzle back so that it sprays vertically, and then I'll start blending the colors. So in this case, I was misting the orange on to kind of grow the fade a little more. Then I'll bring the green back and just sort of fade that down. That's kind of how I get the longer fades. I don't know how other people do it, but I find this way works for me. But in this case, the green got a little bit blotchy, so then I come back in with the orange and kind of soften everything out. Then once I'm happy with the fade, then I'm going to go in and start sketching not sketching, but I'm going to start doing my outline and filling in the 3Ds. This is a tribute piece to my friend Kub that passed away in 2020. And his stuff was super, super clean. So at first I was going to go and use the loop stock cap because it's really clean. And then, I don't know, I've been just using the pocket cap for so long. I'm just so much more comfortable with it. So I ended up aborting the use of the loop stock cap, even though it's an excellent cap and it sprays really clean. I don't know. I've just gotten really accustomed to the pocket cap. So I decided to go ahead and just do it with that. So as I was getting my outline in and stepping back and taking a look, I felt like this piece kind of needed a thicker outline, so I'm going around and thickening up the outline. So now that the outline is pretty much done, I'm going to go in and add the border around it. Usually I would do that at the end, but I plan on roughing up the outline later down the line, so I'm going to end up going over the border a little bit. So I find it a little bit easier to add that first when I'm going to do that specific technique. So with the border, I did the initial part with the pocket cap, and then I'm going to come back around and add some little details with the needle cap. And I'll just go around the border and just add little bits of texture and little, rough pieces and stuff like that. And then I kind of forgot that I was going to do this. I was going to mist in some transparent white to give the 3D a little bit more dimension. And I would have done this first before I added the border, because even though it's hard to see, I kind of lightened up the border a little bit by misting the the transparent white. So I probably did that a little bit out of order, but it ended up working out. So I'm just going around and kind of misting on this transparent white on the left side of the 3Ds. And then once I have all of it in there, just roughly how I want it, I'm going to come back in with the needle cap and sort of cut the lines. So I want the bottom part of the 3D to be dark and the left side of the 3D to be light. So I usually do this technique with any color. I don't usually use transparent. Well, I've used transparent white sometimes, but it's not totally necessary. You can mist on any color you want and do the same technique. But in this case, I just wanted to use the transparent white. So as I'm doing this, I'm starting to think like it doesn't quite have as much texture as I would like in these light parts. So I'm going to go in and just kind of layer on different sort of spray patterns and different techniques. I just feel more at home with stuff that just has a little bit of grunge to it and doesn't have like a really polished look. Like I like looking at that kind of graffiti, but I don't really enjoy painting it as much as I used to. So for cutting back on the 3Ds, I'm using the needle cap for that, for all of it. And then to add even more texture, I put the needle cap on the transparent white and sort of added in some other little bits and pieces around the 3Ds. And then once that's all done, I'll go back in and cut the back black again. It's been a while since I did this technique. I probably would have been able to do it with less passes had I kind of remembered even how it works, but I think it's been some years since I've actually done this. So then after the 3Ds were done, I went back in and started kind of adding a little more texture to the border. So then for the highlights, I did all of them with the needle cap to follow the theme of the grungy sort of lines. The needle cap is a pretty obvious choice for this kind of thing. It sort of has built-in grunge. So on the overlapping letters, I went in with some shadow black, and for some reason, I used the needle cap. I don't think that was probably the best cap to use for this, but it seemed to work okay. In retrospect, had I done this again, I probably would have used the transversal thin or maybe the variator cap turned all the way down, because the sort of fan spray pattern seems to be nice for layering on the transparents, but I did the needle cap. It seemed to work okay, and so I added a little bit of shadow detail, and just be sure you're misting it on in layers, because you just want to build it up, take a step back, and then just keep adding layers until you're happy with it. That way you don't commit to this really dark shadow and then find you don't like it, and then you have to figure out a way to lighten that up. And if you have a color fade on your fill, it's going to be really hard to do that. So that's it. All right, have a good one. I'll see you next time.